What's the strongest ship in the fleet? And I know fleets. Friendship. Scene Snobs, you guys are great.
Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Scene Snobs Podcast. I'm your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob himself. And I hope everybody's doing well. How are you today? It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m., our newest time. Thank you guys for joining us live. If you're joining us later and listening, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, by the way, for all of you. The numbers in the downloads have been spiking like crazy lately. Knock on wood that it's not a fluke. I mean, I just really appreciate it. We've seen an uptick in a lot of things, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, really. And let's get started. We have a really jam-packed show for you. We have a bunch of people here. Lee's here. What's going on, Lee? Hey, Terror Tuesday. Hashtag Terror Tuesday is trending, and I thought of you sharing this now. What is up, Lee? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Dan the Man, Master Shake is here. Can't tune in because of trivia. Have a great show. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you for even stopping by and saying that, my friend. Jason Taylor, what's up, buddy? Three Geeks Jay himself. Go check out the Three Geeks podcast. Does a great job over there. What's up, buddy? And Chris Harris, how you doing, pal? My good buddy. We got to hang out not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Oh man, has it been that long since Carolina Fear Fest? Guys, we actually got so as you guys know, and now you'll see May 26th to 28th. I haven't changed the graphic yet, so bear with me. It's been a crazy couple of days. I did take a vacation last week, still doing some work, but I was really trying to stay off camera as much as I could, and just try and really enjoy it, spend time with the kids. My oldest graduated 5th grade, so I wanted to hang out with him. He's leaving for he's my stepson. He's leaving for the summer, go to his dad's, and so I was just trying to spend a lot of time with him. Carolina Fear Fest was great people there, always wonderful. It was bigger than ever. It was just so much fun, and we're going to talk about that more and more because Horror Conversations is going to continue with my new co-host on that, Destiny. She's going to be jumping in with me. She's wonderful, and I'm so happy that she's going to be my co-host on that. And you're going to see some other familiar faces pop in from time to time. So we're going to have, we had a lot of good times. I did have to leave early, and just anybody who's been asking things like that, I had to leave early on Sunday. I came down with some sort of sickness on Saturday night, and it floored me. It just wiped me out. It's so crazy. And Sunday, I just had to leave early. We left the booth. I did one of the panels and then had to take off. We took the 5.5-hour drive home, and man, just like for 2 or 3 days, I was just wiped. I just could not do anything. So I decided at that point, just because all day Monday I was in bed, I'm just going to hang out, and I am not prepared to do a show whatsoever this Tuesday. I still don't feel good. Tuesday, I was still a little sick. And I knew I had a lot coming up for the rest of the week. So I was like, vacation time, staycation, just going to take it, and have a good time with it. So, that's why I was off. That's why I didn't see any shows last week. I think I did a review. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, but I just did another review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Go check that out on Monday. I am changing it up a bit. I used to do reviews almost immediately as soon as the movie came out. As soon as I could either go see it or if I got a screener, I would do the review. But I like to do live reviews. I like this. I like where I get to talk to people and hear their insights and hear what they think about the movies and stuff like that. So I'm going to start waiting until like Sunday or Monday night. And just go check it out then. And then most people have seen it by that point. They don't care about the spoilers. They are in it. And then we have great conversations because the last couple, Fast X and this past one, Spider-Verse, it was just been great conversations on during the whole thing. And it's just been a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. And we're kind of getting into it. So I do feel a lot better from Carolina Fear Fest, again, I can't thank them enough. They are amazing. They gave me official title now. This was year 3 for the Scene Snobs being partnered with them. We are their official media partner and handling all that stuff. I got to meet some great people, got to see a lot of the Snobnation. It still boggles my mind when people want to take pictures with me and I sign autographs. I don't know how to feel about it. It's like when Ricky Bobby's like being interviewed and he's like, I don't know how to do my hands. Like people are like, can you sign this? And I'm just like, sign what? Like, is it a contract? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, but it is always a good time. I just love going there. And there's a couple other ones that are coming up that we may be jumping in on. So I'll let you know as we get closer to those, if we are going to be a part of them or not. But yeah, horror conversations will be continuing throughout the year because we are partnered with Carolina Fear Fest, and we're always going to want to help them out and be a part of that. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. But we're back strong. This past couple of days, I have been reworking snobsmerch.com. I've been reworking the designs. I've been fixing things up, redoing a whole bunch, new designs, the whole nine. So please go check it out. You don't have to buy anything, but just, I would love to hear what you guys think. Just let me know. Like, if you ever get a chance to watch even some of the short videos on YouTube or check out the merch, things like that, I would love to hear what you guys think. Please don't feel obligated to go get anything or, to join the Patreon and stuff like that. But just let me know what you think. Like, I would love to hear some opinions. So definitely. And we have a great guest coming back again. 2 weeks ago, he was here before his movie came out. Joshua Schubart was here, and we were talking about the Transformation of Ben Grimm. And now it's out. It came out last week, and he's back again. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to get into it. Have some fun with it. I got to check it out. I'm very stoked about that and can't wait to get into it with a little bit more now that I have that knowledge and I've seen it. Hopefully you guys have seen it as well. It is linked down below. You can check it out. It's about 4 minutes long. It's fun. It's a fun one. The makeup looks very cool. Yeah, let us know what you think about that as well while we're here. Steve is here. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Paul. I love Paul. Glad I love you all, you know that. But Paul, man, what's going on, buddy? Glad you're all here better now and back at it. I am. I'm excited. I'm glad I'm back at the shows. Thanks for making CFF though. I tried, man. I really did. I'm glad we got to go out to dinner too. Jason says, glad you're back and feeling better. I am feeling better. I am. And it feels good to be back on my feet. Last week kicked my butt. Fear Fest was a blast. It was such a good time. It was good to hang out with you, Steve. And CFF was too much fun. That's right. And it was great to see you too, Chris. Hopefully a little bit longer next time. It'll be a lot of fun to see you. So, a lot of things going on. I took my vacation last week. It was so weird too, because I never take vacations. I always go straight through. Well, that's not true. All right. As you guys know, if you guys have been longtime Snobnation, Christmas, we take 2 weeks. We have our Christmas show, which is like usually the Tuesday right before Christmas. And then we're done until after the new year. And we'll still post stuff up and things like that, but we don't do any lives or anything like that. It's, everybody go be with your family, stuff like that. We don't want to be too crazy. So we do a vacation, but that's always been like our vacation, especially for me. Like I'm always like doing this show, but we're going on year 4 on October 6th. That will be our 4-year anniversary. So then we're going to year 5. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, I thought it's time to start taking those breaks, those mental health breaks and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not feeling well last week. I have a lot coming up with my kids. It's time. And this summer I will be doing the shows, but I'm going to kind of clock it back a little bit. With my one son going to his dad's house, and my other son is going to be home all summer, and he's 6 and he wants to spend time with his dad and he wants to go out. I want to take him fishing, do other stuff like that with him. So I'm going to try and, do those things when I'm not working and kind of take them out more and do things like that. So, but I will be here and I will be doing things. I will not be slacking. I promise you. I'm still trying to reach my 5-year goal, a 5-year goal of making this a international media conglomerate. And I appreciate you guys being a part of it for sure. Snobnation forever. Chris says vacations are for the week. Yeah, I thought so until I took one. Now I'm all for them. You're going to come join us at the Haunted Screams Expo? Possibly. It's not that is. I just don't know yet. Hopefully, if there's room for me, yes. But I'm working it out, so I will work on that. All right, but I don't want to push him. The man is sitting in the green room. I do not want to push him off anymore. I feel bad because I didn't realize it was 7-11 already. But I want to bring him on, and I want to talk about some Ben Grimm thing action. Not his thing. I want to talk about the thing. I want to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Joshua Schubart, a.k.a. Ben Grimm, a.k.a. the thing. Bring him on. What's up, buddy? Long time no see.
How's it going? I know it's been a whole week. Weird, like a whole two weeks, right?
Yeah, man. I'm so I'm happy you're back, man. And the movie's out.
Movie's out. Yeah, we moved this thing through post-production fast as hell. That was the plan anyway, just because we wanted to get it out so people could start watching it. It's had an incredible response so far, which is great.
Yeah, it's it was funny too, because like I think we were talking about it, and I had gone away for Carolina Fear Fest, and when I came back, I was like, all right, I really want to get in touch with Josh and get him back on the show. And I was like, hey man, let me know as soon as it comes out. And you were letting me know ahead. You were like, hey man, we're working on this, this. And then I emailed you and I'm like, hey, let me know when it's done. I want to schedule you. And I wanted to schedule for last week, but I just wasn't feeling well. And I was like, I need to do it right. I was like, I'm going to take the break here and I'm going to bring him back.
Well, you have to take breaks, man. Like I've been here since the beginning of the show, basically. And it's like, I'm happy that you're taking breaks and that you're going on vacations, because I used to never take those either. And I burnt myself out. So,
yeah, I was starting to feel that, going into year 5 on this, I was like, if I don't start taking breaks, I know it's going to come to a point where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
And you're also going to like just hate everything else too.
That's for sure. But it was funny when I emailed you and I'm like, hey man, let me know when it's out so we can schedule you back on as soon as possible. And you like emailed me almost immediately right back. You're like, it's out.
Yeah. I was like, it's done. It's out. Yeah.
It's like, sweet. All right. Now you're back, man. That's great. So you are seeing a great response to it. And, I've been paying attention and trying to keep in touch with everything. So how excited? First off, let's get to the excitement of it.
It's rad, Mick. Like, I'm just happy that I made it and I got to play the role in the first place, because it's been a huge dream of mine forever, and like now I'm trying to go get it. I'm like reaching for it as really, really hard. And even if it doesn't pan out in the end, I'll still be able to say that I have this piece of work that I made and it's really well done and really good. A couple of people are mad about the rock color, but then I explained it to them. And then for the first time in the history of the internet, they were like, all right, cool, man. I understand that this is your version of it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit. Someone on the internet changed their mind. Like,
yeah. I mean, but I think you need to be open in those sort of things. Because like when I watched it, being a comic book nerd myself, and having talked to you, I think maybe that helps. And not just talk to you 2 weeks ago, but having talked to you years ago about this.
Yeah.
And knowing your feelings on it and know how you feel about, Ben Grimm and the thing in general. For me, it's like, yes, I loved that it's your version of it. He's always, when Michael Chiklis did it, it was as close as they were going to get to the comic book, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Even before that, when you go back to the Roger Corman film, that was as close as you were going to get for the time.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we get to the 2014, 2015 version, and it's like, you went off the rails. You really went your own way with this, and it's horrible.
Yeah,
but you went away, and it really worked. And what I liked about it is this is a short film, and not to take anything away from short films, but, it's very well known that short films are low budget.
Yeah.
But it looks very realistic, looks very cool. The transformation's very cool. It didn't bother me at all about the color. I'm not sitting there wondering, well, why didn't you just go orange? Why didn't you just figure this out? Like, no, I dug it. It was a different vision of it, and I liked that.
Thanks, man. I mean, me and the team were very hyper focused on making this look the way that the rest of our body of work looks. And I work, my friend and the DP on it, Jamal Solomon, has worked with Marvel before, so he knows kind of what to do with the camera in a way. And he owns a Red, which is one of the best cameras that you can work with, and he brought it with him when we shot. He shot the Disney Plus series Empower, which is the documentary series about the women of Marvel. And he's extremely talented and amazing, and I'm so happy that I know him and he's in my life and he's my friend. But like, everybody was really like, they weren't sure at first what it was going to be either. Like, me and Jamal knew, because we like hatched the plan for this thing, but the other crew were like, all right, like, what's going on? Like, it's a really small crew. And then when they got on board and they saw what we were doing, and that I had put like 85% of the budget into the prosthetics, and like, everyone was going to get paid on time and appropriately for what they usually get and all that stuff, they were like, oh, this is real, this is cool, and it's being done well. So they all immediately got on board, and then post-production got on board. It's great. You know, I mean, post has to be on board when you wrap on a Monday night and then the movie is done Saturday afternoon. And then we made it go live the following Wednesday, because we didn't want to compete with Memorial Day and the next day. So we popped it out on the Wednesday after Memorial Day, just so that it would have its own space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked out well, I think. And one thing, I mean, even with me, like the color, and I'm not nitpicking, I promise you. I'm taking it from the perspective side of things. Like,
yeah, sure.
I'm looking at the prosthetics and I'm like, no, this doesn't bother me at all. Like, it didn't really affect me. I'm like, it's more the acting of like the transformation and what happened. And then you're at the card game and it's fun to see it. You know, I would say, like, if anything bothered me, and it didn't, by the way, it didn't. I'm laying that out there now. Is the fact that Mr. Fantastic's hair, Reed's hair, just wasn't salt and pepper enough.
Yeah, I know.
But that didn't bother me. I'm just saying, like, if there was anything that did, that would probably be the thing that bothered me the most.
we were thinking about it, like, should we, because that's his natural hair, like, that's what he looks like. So like, he was like, if you need me to, I'll leave just the white piece around the sides, like in the comics, and I'll do the rest of my hair brown, and like underneath brown. I was like, Chris, don't worry about it. Like weak, like, and I had him, like, I don't know if you could see him, but he's got a lot of really cool tattoos. So they're in a bunch of the shots. So we made it its own thing, like its own Reed, its own Ben, while still being honest and faithful to the character.
It felt real. If it actually, one thing I really liked about it was it felt interesting to me, the dynamic of, like, and it's so quick. That's the cool thing about short films that I like, and an aspect of it is, like, it's so quick, but with a look, with just not even saying anything, but like just even a grunt. Yeah, you can feel a friendship.
Yeah.
You just the look on his face when he comes back into the room and you have the rocks down the side, like, you see the horror on his face.
Yeah.
And not the scared horror of like, oh my God, what's this monster? The horror of my friend.
Yeah.
You know, it's really well done the way you guys, because it's very minimal in the in terms of dialogue in the beginning, in the first part. Of course, the card game, you have to have more.
Yeah,
and I love your voice was great.
That was all that was all improv, which was great. So we just like put the camera up, and I just went, and I would, and like when like things kind of worked, we would keep it, and we ended up on that take. That was the last take after take 5, and it worked perfectly. And we loved it. Like, we kept everything that we liked. The Mike who played Wolverine, he works for the brewery, but he had like the perfect like back for that character. So, and he had the like Wolverine like fuzzy jacket at home because he had one. And I was like, hey man, I know you never done this before, but if you could just like, I'll tell you what to say to me, and you just do like a scratchy voice. And if you feel weird, just look at me because I'm in a Rockman suit, and just realize that we're just having fun. And he did so well, Mick. Like, I was so he was so happy, and I was so happy, and like it was just great for that too.
How do you not though? You know, I mean, especially for him, like not an actor.
Yeah.
Works at the brewery. Now you got a story to tell. Hey, you know who played Wolverine in a movie once?
Yeah, me.
You know, like, yeah, and like it's fun, and I love that you had, you know. So I did want to ask that because you know you definitely get Logan right off the bat because you're talking to him. You know, 3 other people there. Now I'm assuming with the red hair it was maybe Black Widow.
Yeah.
Who are the other 2?
So I was doing like this could be Matt Murdock.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then across the table, I was like that could be Magneto.
That's very cool. If you ever get to elaborate on this more, that would be a lot of fun.
Well, so like, you know, in the comics, we see Ben playing poker all the time, and he's in other people's comics playing poker. And there's this picture. That's pretty famously. It's like him with like Spider-Man hanging upside down in the background, and like all the X-Men are around the table, and like all the heroes are everywhere. So as a fan, I was trying to recreate that the best way that I could for the fans.
Yeah.
Shamal and I really wanted to. We were like, we should do like an after credits picture of that. We should try to recreate that while you're in the suit. And I was like, why don't we just fucking shoot it? Like, why don't we just shoot an after credits scene and make it like a legitimate mini Marvel film? And then he was like, yeah, we have time. We can do that. We got to find a poker table. And I was like, we'll find a poker table.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened. And it's a lot of fun, and I love it because it shows both sides of the coin for me playing the character. Because the transformation part, yeah, there's not a lot of lines and there's not a lot of dialogue, but it speaks so loudly. And I love that, and I love the minimalist part of it, like lines wise, just like you get to watch what he's going through, which is what we've talked about a lot, is like we never get to see what he's going through when that happens, right? Like it's horrifying and terrible. And EJ, who was on set doing sound and also doing post, did like a banging job with the sound, man. Like just great effects, like that fucking bend with the pipe, dude.
The sound effects are very cool, and I didn't mean to cut you off. My apologies, but I did want to mention the rock sounds as the transformation was happening. Like it really, like you can hear that, and it really got, like, Mac didn't get to me, but it hit as it was happening. So like I thought that was very effective. It was very cool.
Good. Yeah, because we talk a lot about that, like bone cracking, like a crunching, like rock crunching, like a body and change, so that we can earn all the heightened emotion and all the screaming. And I think we did that. We like earned every one of those heightened moments, which is really important.
Well, yeah, one aspect of it that I really liked is you show like sort of a yin and yang of who Ben Grimm is, and I like that because it shows that you know who Ben Grimm is the horror of his transformation. Then cut to the credits, and then right after that after credit scene is the reason he's always like a lot of people might ask, and if you're watching or listening to this, you might wonder, like, well, why the hell would you have Magneto there? Why the hell would you have Matt Murdock there? Why would you have Logan there? Why would you have because Ben Grimm is that guy.
Yeah.
He is the guy that gets along with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He's a ball buster, but at the same time, he's a guy who will listen. He's the consummate buddy in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you pegged that really well, because then coming back to it and like having him do the go back and forth between you and Logan in it, and really just being focused on right there, which I hope you did get a picture of all of you together, you and the Focus, because that would make a really cool like poster or something hang on your wall right behind you.
We have a lot of pictures. We don't have that type of picture, but we took a ton of pictures, man. Like,
nice. Very
cool. Don't you worry about that.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, you did a great job, man, and
thanks,
first time directing too. So
it was. It was my first time of like officially doing it, like on my own, on my own thing. Like I've helped out before. I've done a lot of acting coaching on like other people's sets, and I wanted to, like I really thought about it. Like there are some amazing people that I've worked with before, that I was like, they'd be perfect. I'd bring them on. I won't have to worry about it. But then I just was like, I don't want anyone else's hands in here, because this is like, not to sound like a dickhead, but this is my vision. No, but like this is what I want people to, like. I want people to see my Ben, and who I think Ben is in all the aspects of him. And so I just wanted to be able to do that without having to argue or prove why it was important to have this moment or that, because you have to do a lot of that stuff when you're trying to like hold on to what you're working on. In the beginning of your acting career, you just kind of let everything go, because you're not sure if like what you even think is correct or what you feel is right. And then over the years, because I've been, in this world for a long time, you learn that you can like really trust your instincts a lot more. And then you have to like convince other people that you were right, which can be time consuming and really frustrating. So I don't think I'll do it with all of my projects, but it was a great lesson for me to be able to do it for this,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you've got, I think it's 1.2 thousand views so far. I mean, since Wednesday, it's pretty good, man. It's not even a week yet.
That's just on YouTube. I've got like 28,000 or like 40,000 on TikTok, and then another something on Instagram. And then I'm trying to figure out how to work the new Twitter. So like, because it's like new dumb Twitter, and I think it's okay. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's also up on Twitter. So I don't know what the collective total views are, but it's a lot. And
good.
I haven't gotten any shitty feedback yet, knock on wood. So just like really excited folks.
And that's what, and from the final product, I mean, you shouldn't, knock on wood. I mean, of course, you're always going to get people.
People are going to be people, yeah.
But you'd never pay them minds, because they're just there just to get a rise out of you. But you did a great job, man, and I'm pulling for you. Let's get it to Kevin Feige. Let's figure this out. Let's send it to him.
Like my agents and managers they have it too, so they're doing their own push. Yeah. But literally everything helps, because like unless a person is like next to him, like it's gonna be, like it could get lost in translation, it could get lost in an email, blah 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 blah. I would love for him to just see it, or anybody in the organization to see it, or like anybody that's potentially in the movie to just fucking see it. Like I like the director would be great if Matt saw it. Like he's like Matt, I don't think is on social media. So if anyone knows if he is and I just can't find him, because I will just be like tweeting at him and stuff. If anybody in the Snobs Nation knows, please let Mick know so that he can let me know.
I will find out for you. And that's Matt Reeves. Who is it?
I think it's some Matt Shankman.
Matt Shankman. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt Shankman. I'll find out for you.
I do believe. I mean, I don't want to. Let me just.
And is he direct? He's directing the new one, huh?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I will find out for you, dude. No problem.
And then like everyone can just like do it too. Everyone.
Get over your Shankman. You're getting you better put him in the movie. Just start muscling him around.
I mean, just like it's Matt Shankman. Just like tweet it or tag Marvel, tag Kevin Feige, tag everybody. Because that's how it generates pull. It gets eyeballs that way. Because if people start to like hurricane tag Marvel over and over and over again, then their social media manager goes, "Oh shit, then this needs to be seen because of the internet or something," and then that's just how shit goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's gonna. Listen, I wish you all the best with it, man. I think you did a great job, and the fact that like just even again in 2020 talking about this and how much you wanted to play it and like you went about it, like people don't often do this. If I could for a minute and just like praise on you for a few seconds because you deserve it.
Okay,
take it, man. You deserve this, dude. Trust me. So many people project out there things they want, and they don't do anything about it. They just tell people, "I want this. I want this. I want this." You did that. You told a lot of people coming on their shows. Now you were always working. Now, having talked to you and, watch your career and be friends with you on social media and see where you're going, watching your show and, watching other projects you've worked on, you're doing it, man. But you said this, this is like my dream project. This is what I love to do. You put the money together. You stepped in, you did it. No matter what happens, be proud of yourself. I hope you are. I hope you're truly proud of yourself and what you accomplished, because this is an accomplishment. And if it means anything coming from me, I'm damn proud of you. And I know a lot of other people are.
Thanks, man. I'm very, very proud of it. And I'm happy that it exists. So absolutely. A long time ago. So a long time ago, I was an excuses guy, like this was back in like middle grad school, like the end of undergrad or whatever, where it was like everything was somebody else's fault, or it was because of or it was because I was homeless or I was in foster care, and like I have no control over my own life. And I like, it's like a switch turned one day, like I just got sick of blowing up my own life for no reason. And I was like, I got to do everything that I say that I'm going to do, and everything that I want to do. I have to do it because no one else is going to do that shit for me. So if I want it and I'm going to talk shit about it, I got to fucking do it. And that's what I've been trying to do. And it's been sort of working ever since then. But specifically with my artistic projects, I try to stay I try to make them as often as I can. It just doesn't always work out, because you have to literally like will this shit into existence in order for it to work. You got to get the money up, like you said, and like literally everything has to align perfectly. You have to find people that have the same schedule. You have to find locations that have availability. And then you have to just like, God, man, it's like a giant puzzle piece from hell that you're trying to like smush together. It's like the worst bachelor party you've ever tried to put together. and then everyone's already like blasted and you can't get them anywhere is basically what it's like to make a movie. But I appreciate it. That was a long-winded way of me saying thank you, and I appreciate that. And
absolutely, man. And I get it. I know it's sort of put on the spot. I do the same thing. Like people, say nice things to me, and I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Be gone, witch.
And then I just explain my whole life process, and that's not needed. I can just say thank you. So thank you.
I absolutely love that, though. I'm glad you did, because people need to hear that, because making a movie is, no matter how long it is, it's a hard process. And I talk about that often on this show. I don't do it anymore, but I did it for a lot of years. And when I hear, especially younger people coming up and just like, I'll just make a movie. I'm going to make a movie. And it's like, okay, because that's easy. It's just like, I'm going to make a movie. Let's just do this.
It is easier now than it was when we were younger. Just because
I would argue that, though, not since we were younger, since we gained more experience. There's a lot of people who don't gain that experience and they get older, and it's just like, it's still hard.
well, so I mean, it's a lot easier to get started than it was. The point of entry now is so much easier just because you have a phone. You can start to learn, and you can learn a lot of your basic everything off of YouTube, and we didn't have that in the past. You had to go out and suck and learn and spend a lot of money on film, which is really expensive, and now you can just keep using the same car over and over again and make your films with your friends until your asshole falls out. But not that there's not still a huge learning curve. It's just the point of entry has expanded a ton because of technology. But that's just to make a movie. To make a okay movie is really hard. To make a really awesome movie is almost impossible. So yeah, I totally, man.
Yeah, it really is, and it's even though the technology is getting easier and easier too, and there is so much that can teach you more. Having gone to film school myself, I tell a lot of people, I'm like, I gained a lot of friends who in film school that I find valuable, who are still friends to this day, work in the industry, and I love knowing them. And I wouldn't change it because of that. But I don't feel like I learned anything that I couldn't have learned by just going to a set and working. In fact, I learned a lot more after film school, going on a set and working. But
same, I learned a lot more after acting school. You got a great foundation, but shit, man, they don't teach you anything.
They definitely charge you more than they teach you.
True. That's true.
But you know what, though, it is easier to make things now, but to make things that really are engaging and entertaining and are just good and good at heart. The real core, the real heart of it, that are, when you watch it, you watch this, and that's the thing. You didn't have to make a post-credit scene that was more uplifting and showed a different side of Ben Grimm. And most people wouldn't. But you did. And I think that's what's important. You put heart to it. Yeah, it's heartbreaking in the beginning. But then it's but you still have this character who we love, who's been around forever. And this is why we love him. And you knew that. You knew to add that.
Yeah. And also, it's also because, and I've spoken about this before, is that I'm a fan, and I want to see what I would want to see. Right. So I put in what I would want to see if I was watching it. And I think a lot of people that make films are fans of what they're making, and they try to make what they want to see and what they hope other people would want to see. Yeah. Especially with IP like this, you have to be really careful to not fuck it up. And that was very prevalent in my mind and Jamal's mind, and we would constantly check in during pre-production, like, are we fucking this up? Like, are we taking too many liberties? Are we pushing the horror vibe too hard? Is it going to fuck up the story? Is it going to mess up the character? So there were points that we pulled back, that we altered performance, that we tweaked, just so that we could stay true to Ben, which is a collective character, and also so we could stay true to me as like highlighting me as the actor in the role at the same time, and we did it. So I'm very happy to say that.
Yeah, it was great, man. Yeah, I'm really happy for you, and I really loved what you did, and I wish you all the best, man. And Jason Taylor's here, and I just wanted to highlight, because I know you were on a podcast, and he was also a guest on the podcast with him recently, and you're going to be on his show, I think, 3 Geeks podcast pretty soon.
I was just on a show this past weekend.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun.
Jason's awesome. Like, we had a great time, and we ran almost for two hours on his live show, and it was a wild time.
Yeah, they go pretty long, and they go pretty hard there, and I'm Mr. Wimp. I get out at like an hour. I go to bed after an hour. They need vacations more than I do, but he did say that your short film was great and he loved it, and he did want to tell you that you did a phenomenal job.
Jason.
So, but yes, thank you so much, man. And yes, everybody, I want to say, anybody who's watching or listening, please share this out. The link is down below. Let's get it into the hands of Marvel, especially Matt Shakeman, who is directing Fantastic Four. Let him see it. Let's let him see who Ben Grimm is, because he's right here. He's on the camera. And Josh, I can't wait to see more from you. Love to have you back on. Probably not next week, but we'll get you on soon.
I mean, I just come on every week and just talk about something new.
We pick out a different comic book character every week.
Yeah, to pick out something, or I can bring in I got a brand new feature film that I'm in pre for, that I can just, like,
I would love to talk about the process of that.
Did we talk about what you need 2 years ago? It's the hybrid animation film, indie comic book artist who's trying to change his life. No, all right. So that's the next thing. So the pitch deck's done, concept art's done. I've got a few people interested in doing it. It's a hybrid animation millennial coming of age story. It's a queer buddy comedy where the two main characters are best friends. One is straight, me. The other friend, she's queer, and we've lived together forever, and they're both going through incredibly drastic life changes, and they lean on each other for support. And it's a true buddy comedy, like Superbad-esque, just not awful comedy wise. I mean, it's wonderfully funny, but it doesn't hold up anymore. Unfortunately, this is a much more modern approach to that type of thing, with really cool comic book animated characters that spring to life.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, actually, once you guys get kind of going with that, I would love to have you back on. We'll talk about some more.
Awesome.
All right, why don't you reach out to me and we'll set that up.
You're just never gonna get rid of me, Mick. I'm gonna be just always in your show. I'm gonna be like, hi.
I like people who come. I like good people who come back and visit. So I'm fine with it. And you're a filmmaker. I like talking filmmaking, so I'm cool with it. I'm out of it. Since I'm out of it, I like talking about it. So I like people who will tell me their stories. I'll live vicariously through you.
Do it.
But I want to say I appreciate you coming back on and talking about the transformation of Ben Grimm. Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Great work. I have seen from beginning to end the campaign, working through it, getting it done, and I applaud you, man. Let's get to the finish line. I hope you get it. I'm cheering for you, man.
Thanks, Mick. I really appreciate that.
Thanks again for coming on, brother. And everybody, check out Joshua Schubart. You can follow him everywhere. Again, the links are all down below. You should follow him. He's a lot of fun. He's a great guy, and you will see him back on the show sooner rather than later.
Sweet.
All right, take care, Josh. Thanks again.
Man. Thank you.
That was so much fun. Josh is a great guy. So, guys, we are, I'm changing it up a little bit. I figured I'd take some time and kind of restructure the show a little bit. So we are trying to invite on more people to, interview, talk about projects. But if they're not talking about projects, like just have some fun. Maybe if they're podcasters, things like that. It doesn't just have to be celebrities like Josh or, or celebrities, filmmakers like Josh or, other podcasters, things like that. So we will be having more and more people come on. But I thought I'd add more segments to it. As you know, we have Did I Just Fix the Movie, which we have a good one for you tonight. And I haven't seen this movie since the 80s, and I watched it today. Man, do I have some thoughts, and we'll get to it. But I thought I'd add a new one for the summer. And it was just something a little bit different. I'm going to kind of play with this. So hopefully you guys will stick around. I'm going to do it on the show here. And then, of course, I'll cut it into a clip and we'll have it on the YouTube as well. But you can also listen to it right here on the Scene Snobs Podcast. So thank you guys again for listening. And hopefully you like it. Let me know what you think. If you have ideas for it, let me know. I figured those would be like short things where we talk about different aspects of filmmaking, different aspects of movies, but also television. And one of the things I wanted to get into for this one, and it's going to be called Snobs Movie Summer School. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to do this segment and see how it goes over the summer. If it catches on, we'll keep it going maybe. If not, we'll ditch it. But I figured I would talk about what makes finales work or fail. And the reason I want to talk about that is because when it really comes down to it, there's a lot of finales lately. A lot of finales. And it's been quite insane what I've been trying to keep up with. So bear with me because I was kind of writing everything up and I wanted to like kind of get as in depth as I could, but I'm also trying to keep it short, so I don't, drone on too long. Basically, when it comes to finales, it had me thinking. You had some really big ones. You had ones like the Goldbergs, Fear the Walking Dead, Snowfall just finished. The Flash just finished. Blacklist just finished. Riverdale just finished. Doom Patrol just finished. A lot of them were canceled. The Crown just finished. Picard finished back in March or April, I think. Snowpiercer's getting ready to finish its last season. Four of the big ones that just happened was The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel just finished its last season. Ted Lasso just finished its last season. Now they may come back with spinoffs, but it's done for Ted Lasso. Like Jason Sudeikis is done. He's not doing that. Character story is finished. Succession, Barry. Now I went through and I watched all of these. Now, often we enjoy a good finale when it comes to TV. But when it comes to movies, we don't. A lot of times, most finales in movies, and I'm talking a lot about trilogies or maybe two-parters, things like that, we tend to dislike the finale and we'll like the lead-ups. Let's take case in point. People love Infinity War. They like Endgame a lot. They may even love Endgame. But it pales in comparison most time when you ask people, for the majority, do you like Endgame more than Infinity War? No, there's something that just isn't working there. Then you go and you talk about like some of my favorites. Let's talk about the Holy Trilogy, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, one of the best. New Hope, people love it. Return of the Jedi always kind of flounders a little bit. Then you have movies like Indiana Jones. The Last Crusade, of course, would be the finale, and a lot of people liked it, but it just didn't have the same oomph that most movies do. And then, of course, they followed up with this one, and now they have a new one coming out, and this is going to be the finale of Indiana Jones' story. And people are already saying, like, it just doesn't fit. And that's the problem with it is, and let's go back to TV real quick before we get into the movie side of it, is when you have TV, it's a good indicator of what works and what doesn't work. When you have a show or a movie that goes on way too long, let's take The Flash or Goldbergs or Fear the Walking Dead or something like that. When it goes on for way too long, you run out. It becomes repetitive. It becomes boring. It becomes procedural. That is the quintessential of what these things are. So by the time you get to your finale, yeah, people are tuning in. They want to watch. They want to see how it's going to end. But they're tired. You're already shooting yourself in the foot. You get to 8 seasons, your finale is already done. And if you have a less than stellar last season, or even a season before that, think about Smallville. Season 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 was pretty good, but it paled in comparison to everything before 7. And that was still probably the best season after 6. I know it seems a little crazy and I'm jumping around a lot, but 7, 8, and 9 destroyed it. And when you have bad seasons coming back to back to back and you're throwing in fan service to try and fix it, things like that, your finale is not gonna work. It destroys the idea of ending it. You know, a lot like Buffy, another one. At the end of when Buffy finally gets her happy ending where she can walk away in the 7th season, she's now gone. She can walk away. She finished. The Hellmouth is closed. And I'm going to get with you on this, guys. Don't worry. I'm going to be going through the comments. I do want to talk about this stuff with you guys. But when you get to that point, you forgot you ended this in season 5 and she died. And it was one of the most beautiful endings of all time. You've now sullied this. And 6 was not a great season. So by the time you got to 7, which was a pretty good season, you've gone too long. You should have thought about this. You should figure out how you want to end it. That's why so many great shows like Breaking Bad, the ending was magnificent. We still talk about that finale. We still talk about certain finales like those things because you know they were planned from beginning to end. That's why I still maintain that Back to the Future or Lord of the Rings, these things worked. These finales worked. You may not like Back to the Future 3 compared to the first one or compared to the second one, but it works within the realm of the 3. It is a good, solid finale. You may not like that it's over and the time machine is gone. That's fine. You don't have to like the aspects of the finale, but it is a finale that works, and we can at least adopt that notion of it. My point here is if we can learn anything from a finale, and then we'll get to the TV side for a second, and in just a second, but the last 2 seasons of House sucked. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. When Cuddy left, it was done. It was just terrible. So when you get to your finale, if you don't have a clear, concise plan leading up to it and how you're going to end it, or if you extend it for money or this, that, or the other thing, you're dead in the water. Your finale is going to suck. You need to know. You cannot expand on things, or you have to take a drastic route and change it and go a different way so you can lead yourself down to a new finale. Now, let's go back to TV for a few minutes. Let's talk about the 4 finales that were pretty damn big last week. Succession. Now, you had 4 seasons of Succession, and you can't help after that finale but understand that they had the understanding of what this was from the beginning. Maybe not exactly how it was going to go, but they knew exactly who was going to take over, what was going to happen, and where this was going to go, and how it was going to bite them in the ass. Though the 3 kids were never going to be able to succeed in taking over their father's business. They never deserved it. And I watched that show saying to myself, if these kids in the end take over this business in any way, any one of them, in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to hate this because none of them deserved it. They were horrible. The father was horrible too, don't get me wrong, but he built it. They didn't build it. They didn't do anything for it. Now it's a good show. It is. It was a little cynical for my taste, but it's a good show. And that's a taste thing. That's not knocking the writing or the filmmaking side of it. That is a very good show. HBO produces some great stuff. but they ended it properly. Barry, on the other hand, another HBO show, ended it perfectly and then went on for another 10 minutes. An idea of this isn't, you should have known how to end your show. This isn't it went on too long and they just didn't have an idea of how they wanted to end it. I think that he knew exactly how he wanted to end the show from beginning to end, and he had it set in motion, but he wanted to do it in such a way where it got a little Shakespearean on him, and he should have ended it exactly the way it was. The name of the show is Barry, and it should have began and ended with Barry. No more, no less. Leave it up to us to figure it out afterwards. And after a character that is in the title is no longer a part of this show, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away, it's done. And that's where it should have been done. And that is why a lot of people were not happy with how it went. It went on too long. Now let's go to the next one, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. This is a show that from the beginning sets up this idea that now it is very extravagant. It is very all over the place. It is this type of show that just Amy Sherman Palladino, who also did Gilmore Girls and lots of other stuff, this is who she is. This style of show is exactly her style, and I am not knocking it. It's a very Broadway-esque style. It's theater. I can respect it. I love the theater, and I respect her style. I respect what she's trying to do with it. But finale-wise, what bugged me about it is you get to this 5th season, and now you were growing for 4 seasons. And then in this 5th season, it's so condensed. It's all about this talk show. It's all about this late night talk show. And she's just trying to get on that. And that's what she's putting all of her stuff on and how it kind of plays out. Now, I liked it, but I just didn't think it was an effective finale. I thought it was just too tied up. And the fact that you have to do time jumps, I'm not a fan of. I don't mind time jumps maybe in the last episode. Like, okay, we'll tie up the little stuff. You know, well, what's happened with this character that we don't really need to know what's going on? But, you know, we can tie it up that way. Like, you know, what happened with this person? What happened with this person? Callbacks are great. Easter eggs are great. But when you get to that point and like you're doing all these jumps, time jumps to show like, oh, she did become famous. She did do this. Oh, she became really successful. Oh, he did this. But there's so many plot holes there. You didn't tie up anything with a lot of characters on that show. And then you were tying up things with characters I didn't need to know what happened with Lenny Bruce and her. I know what happened with Lenny Bruce. It's heartbreaking. He never even had to come back on. I mean, I'm not mad that he did, but it shouldn't have been a center of this whole thing. And that shouldn't have been Maisel's, and I call her Maisel because a lot of people don't know Midge. That's what they call her on it. That's her name on it. Mrs. Maisel's, that's like her humanity. And why even have the kids in it? Like, because the kids were never a part of this, and it was just terrible. She was a terrible mother in it. That's a whole different thing. The finale didn't work. It was too rushed. It was too crazy, too all over the place, too many jumps. And that was a show where it could have worked. Because then let's go to the 4th one I want to talk about, and that's Ted Lasso. I've never been, I'm a huge Ted Lasso fan. I thought the show was great. A lot of people knock the positivity of it, but I really think that's a great idea. There's so many cynical shows and movies out there, negative things that I will watch because sometimes you need that too. But I need the positivity too. And it's okay if you can have an overt amount of positivity if it tells a good tale. And it did. The thing I liked about this last season, and you know, I didn't think it was a perfectly executed final season, but they were tying things up. They had their right amount of callbacks. They had the right amount of Easter eggs. And then even in that last episode, they did their time jumps, which seemed very dreamlike, but they also kind of made it seem like this could be a dream. It could just be a Ted's dream at the end. And he goes off. But you get the idea of everyone's happy, everyone's living the life they need to live, and everyone's life is tied up. We're done. That's a finale. We're good. And that's where movies tend to fall short on a lot of things. Movies will have very long, and I think it really comes down to money always, is we have executives wanting to elongate or stretch out so much to make more money. You know, I did see Harry Potter there. I didn't read Bilbo Swaggins, which I love that name. I didn't get to read his whole comment, and I will in a minute, but it was one of those things where it's like Harry Potter was broken up into 2 stories. Now, I didn't think it needed to be, but it was. And I've often heard from Harry Potter fans that it's not their favorite. And I hear that a lot, and that becomes a big thing. Fast and Furious. If this becomes 3 movies, I think that's going to be a big problem. I don't think it should. And honestly, after all the drama and turmoil that comes with this whole thing, and now Jason Momoa, who was literally the best part about Fast X, the best part, and in some instances, the only good part, is now has beef. I don't know. It's just a whole bunch. I don't even know if I want to watch those anymore. But let's get to some of your comments. Let's talk about it. Hopefully, I kind of conveyed it to you a little bit. That's kind of what I want these to be, and I'm working on them too. I want to, this is my first one, and it's my first one after a vacation, so I was kind of tweaking it a little bit. I will have more coming on. So if you guys are watching or listening, please let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any topics that you would like to see me cover. But I will be back with more. And, I will be working on them. So hopefully throughout the summer, they'll get better and better. Let me know what you think. All right. Let's see what everybody says. Okay. Jason says, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is one of the best I've seen in a whole. That 5th season, I kind of got to disagree with you, man. Halloween Ends is a good example. Halloween Ends was, god awful, terrible writing. And I will tell you, Chris, I I know the entire plot of The Exorcist. David Gordon Green's The Exorcist. I know exactly how everything plays out. And and I know it is what I know is right. It's not going to be good. So, but whatever. The Goldbergs went on. So the creator Adam Goldberg made them take his name off the show. Also had them put on this in fiction on the end. This is fiction on the end. It's so stupid. It really is. And I tried watching the last episode just because I watched the first 6 seasons, and whatever. It just it wasn't great, but I watched the first 6 seasons. I don't know why. Sometimes I'll do that with a show. And I was like, whatever, I'm going to watch this last episode just because you know how when you invested time, you go back and you want to see the finale. I watched 5 minutes and I was out. I was like, I can't do this. Bilbo Swaggins, love it. It'll be BS like the last Harry Potter or the Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore. Yeah, it was not a great one. They should have had the deer chose a non-magical homie since at the beginning of the movie, he said there was nothing special of him. Where that ended of him getting chosen to lead would circle back to that. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I feel like you'd understand it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And that's the thing. It just choose a lane, figure out your story, and stick with it. Don't just shoehorn things in. Jason says 6. Give us that wonderful musical episode, though. That was a good one. The last season of Maisel wasn't bad. There was some good stuff in there. There's just so much that wasn't tied up last season. Yeah, they were bad. Definitely weaker. Just started Succession. The acting on that show is phenomenal. Yeah. It was just too much for me. They're just too ruthless, too much assholes. See, I enjoyed the time jumps and how they tied to the past. Yeah, I get it, but the time jumps are hit or miss for me, and that was a miss. But I get what you're saying. I love the finale episode though, and the final season. Honestly, I thought the final episode, if they had done the roast episode as the final episode, that would have been much more fun. I agree with Fast and Furious. If they really want to make a third movie, just make a whole new story. I like this franchise for what it is, but I don't need the same story stretch. I don't even like it for what it is anymore. It's just becoming so ridiculous. I enjoyed the first 6 because it was fun, but after that, I watched it out of habit. All right, guys. So that was my Snobs movie summer school for this week, and next week we'll be back with more. So make sure to either check us out on the Scene Snobs podcast, or if you go over to the YouTube channel, it will be there in a clip, and you can watch that. All right, let's get to it. Our last segment of the night, and that is, did I just fix Howard the Duck? So this is a movie I haven't seen since the 80s, and I remember it scared the hell out of me. And I never remembered why. I always thought because the principal from Ferris Bueller was in it, and he was the bad guy, and he turned into this monster. That is the only thing I really remembered from this movie as a child. And I just went from like this. I always had this picture in my head of just this crazy look, gnarly, like sounding voice. And it came out in 86, and I watched it when I was real young. So it was like 87. So maybe about 6 years old, 6 or 7. And I think my family thought when they rented it, this was a kid's movie. And it really is not a kid's movie. I have a 6-year-old now, and he was like, "Can I watch it?" I'm like, "No, this is not Donald Duck. You need to leave." I was like, "Let me finish this, and then we'll watch something else later. Watch DuckTales later, and we'll get that out." So I sit down and I rewatch this movie, and does it need to be fixed? Yes, it's not a good movie. There's a lot of problems with it. Are there aspects to it that are cool? Yeah. First off, I want to name some of the good. The costume for the duck is awesome. If that's a costume, I have to look it up and see if that's costume or animatronic. Either way, really well done. It still holds up, I think. Looks cool. The CGI version with Seth Green in the Marvel movies is cool. I like the look. It's still not 100% like what the comic book version of is, but neither is this movie. But I really like that it is a live action and kind of worked out well. The monster at the end is gnarly and cool. I did not remember it at all. I just remembered the pedophile principal from Ferris Bueller, him being a monster in it. And I didn't realize that he came back and was good after that. So like a lot changed to it. Tim Robbins being in it, I didn't remember him at all. Leah Thompson, I do remember her. So let's get down to fixing it. How do you fix Howard the Duck? First and foremost, I know it's the 80s. I know we had this big thing in the 80s about like aliens and bringing things in from other planets. It was just like this trope that like, it seemed like if we needed some type of movie where we needed something weird to come into play, we would just say it's from outer space. And then that would be the explanation. That's what we got. Or it'd be just very thin. We could have done better. And it's okay that he's from another planet. I don't care about that. But just the fact that he got sucked out of his apartment all the way to Earth and landed in Cleveland, and that's just what happened. It just didn't jive well. You could have done this so much better. I liked the fish out of water element, where he's just trying to figure out life. The scientists come into it a little bit late. Tim Robbins playing this lab assistant who just wants to get rich off of Howard, and he's kind of a dullard who wants to like hook up with Leah Thompson's musician character all the time. And there's just so much going on. It's a very convoluted story, and it didn't need to be. And I think that was really what my problem was. I think you need to dumb this down a little bit. And honestly, I would have made it where he's a lab assistant and he's messing with maybe multiversal. Now, I understand the multiverse is a very touchy subject right now because it seems like everybody's doing the multiverse. But even if you didn't want to do multiversal and you did want to do a planet, I would do it in such a way where you're not sucking him from his planet, but like maybe you're opening up a doorway to another planet. And like he sees him there and he grabs him because he sees like, oh my God, this is an alien. I can get rich off of this, you know? Or, one aspect I thought might have been very cool was he takes the girl to visit this planet. They meet Howard. They become friendly with Howard. He's like, I found this planet. I found this key that opens things up. Let's go there. Let's check it out. He goes in. They both go in. They meet Howard. Maybe they try to take something of his or some proof that they're there. Howard follows them back, But what I would have done was at least had them spend 30 to 40 minutes in Howard's world. And I'm getting to the reason why in just a second. I just don't want to say it right off the bat, but spend the time in the world, get to know their world, have them be the fish out of water. Maybe Howard's guiding them around or whatever. They become friendly. He starts taking a liking to her. She starts taking a liking to him because now she's seeing him as like, yeah, you're a duck, but like you're a musician. You're kind of rolling around. You're doing your thing. Like it's almost like everything's like human here, like our world. So you're playing into that. Now he wants to come back. Hey, you want to come back and check out our world? Or you want to see this? And like maybe Tim Robbins' character has this notion of, I'm going to be rich. And she's just like, I like you. I want you to see my world. I've seen yours. Come see mine. And maybe some of you know where I'm going with this, but so then they go back to the world. He's in there and he starts flagrantly trying to throw him into the world of like being on TV and stuff like that. Howard's not into it. He doesn't want to do that stuff. He just kind of wants to do his own thing. He's into music, so he's like that. You can keep that whole cherry bomb music idea of like he becomes the manager. Maybe he still beats up her current manager, gets the money and stuff. It still like has those elements where he's like a very down to earth type of duck, sort of thing. I understand my phrasing there, but I think that would have helped. Now the scientist who built the machine that he's messing around with and trying to get rich off of and experimenting with are now pissed because he's trying to get rich and it's their machine. So they start screwing around trying to open up the portal again. And that's when they start pulling in these otherworldly beings that are possessing them. And you can still have that scary element of it, but you got to take the campiness out of it. And now the way I would do it is I would almost do it like Crocodile Dundee meets Buckaroo Banzai, toned down. So like when they're in his world, when they're in Howard's world for like the first 30 or 40 minutes, it's like Crocodile Dundee when she's in his world. He's protecting her. He's keeping her safe. She's learning his ways because that's how she's going to survive. She sees in his element, he's king. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to survive. And then when they get back to her element, he can still survive. He still knows what to do. It's not different. He's just a duck where they're humans. So he's still good, but the bigger threat is the fact that he was discovered has now opened up a door for other things to be discovered. And they are a threat. And now he's the only thing that can stop it. Now, the fun thing about Howard the Duck and what the comic books were is there was supposed to be satire. He was dealing with like horror things. Like the first being he ever meets in the comic books is Man-Thing. And Man-Thing had just like gotten his butt kicked, in the Florida Everglades. And, Howard the Duck helps him. So going on with that, Howard Duck is always like reluctantly going on these adventures because he can handle himself. He can do these things. And that's who he is. This would be a good origin story to say, okay, now you're stuck on Earth. They've closed the portal. It's so crazy. You got in, you're here. They can't open it back up. They're bringing other things in. Now you got to fight them off. You've opened yourself up. And you don't even have to name superheroes, but you can say it's open to the idea that like there are superheroes out there, or there are other worldly beings, that are other things that may be able to help. Let's go see this scientist, Reed Richards, or something like that, you know, because it was a Marvel movie. If you wanted to go that route. But Howard the Duck could have been so much better if you did add that element or expand on that element of like what Crocodile Dundee was. So when he gets back, yeah, he's in a place he doesn't know or understand, and he's seeing things he doesn't know or understands. But he can handle it because he knows who he is. And I think that's where you would have fixed it. Take out all the hokiness, take out all the craziness, because deep down, if you watch this movie, Howard's not bad. Howard's not the problem with this. That character is fine. It's everyone around him is saying stupid, weird stuff. All the dialogue is really crappy. The story is crappy. But the character of Howard was written all right, and he kind of could have went on with it. You know, Quack Fu is a real thing. Like a lot of people laughed about it. It was like Quack Fu, huh? But that was part of the comics. He knows Quack Fu. He's proficient in it. That's why he can fight. And that's why I dug it, and I thought this would have been really cool if they had done it with this movie. And hopefully they do make a Howard the Duck movie or a TV show or special or something, because it could be really cool to see. And add that to it. So I don't know. Maybe I fixed it. What would you guys like to see something like that? Would you like to see a Howard the Duck movie along those lines? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. That's my Did I Fix It of the week. Howard the Duck. Thank you, Chris Harris, for giving me the movie. I appreciate you. I think you just like kind of shouted it out one time in the comments, and I just went with it. So, you know, I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. He's a Patreon supporter, and I truly appreciate you for that. So if you guys have any other movies, my only stipulations for the Did I Fixes, they have to be studio films, and they have to be bombs or critically hated or audience mostly hates it and stuff like that. You know, movies that you really do think can be fixed. I don't do independent films, and I don't, you know, trash anybody else's, like, you know, student films, anything like that. You know, studio films only. So I'm Mick from the Scene Snobs. Guys, we have a lot of stuff going on. The summer's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Snobnation Morning Drive live show will be coming back. There's going to be some changes about it. When it does come back, we will talk about it more. And I want to say I appreciate all of you for being a part of it, supporting things like that. Thank you to all our patron supporters for everything that you do. Truly appreciate you. Love all the support and the Snobs Nation and all that you guys do. If you guys want to join up on Patreon, we got our link down below. We have 6 tiers available. We'd appreciate it. Or you can join up on the Discord. Follow us on any, you know, we have great conversations going on there. That's Snobnation Discord. That's free and open to everybody. So links down in Linktree below. Or you can follow us and all social media and all that stuff. Thank you guys. Go check out snobsmerch.com again. I just did some redesigns. I'd love to know what you guys think. Again, you don't have to get anything, but I would love to see what you guys think. Until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan. Thank you, Joshua Schubart, for coming on to the show today. I truly appreciate you. Let's see what the comments are before we get going. Chris says he needs to watch it again. Jay says, have a wonderful evening, brother. Sorry I missed you before you left. Oh, Devin's here. Devin, what's going on, buddy? Oh my God, it's Mick, 70s screaming. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, Devin. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm not great at goodbyes, so I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys are interested, go check out Entertainment Earth. They are a sponsor of the show. Our affiliate link is down below in the description. They have lots of cool collectible stuff and more. Just click on that link and you get 10% off of your order. And you get, you know, 10%, another 10% off. It's $59 or above. So really just appreciate you guys. Thanks again. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care.